لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. صدق الله العلي العظيم. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك نسينا أو أخطأنا. الفاتحة مع الإخلاص والصلوات.
محمد وآل محمد صلوات. اللهم صل على محمد وآل. So I'm calling you for speech or what is that?
No, it's actually
Nasheed? Right. Mashallah, very beautiful recitation, Brother Muhammad Ali. So there's one nasheed from one child, Zain. So can I request Zain to come recite few verses in Arabic on this happy occasion, please. But Muhammad wa ala Muhammad salawat. Allah.
ساقي المؤمنين علي يا أملي حبيبي الأزلي ليث الأمين علي خير ولي بالوصف والعمل أوالي من والاه أعادي من عاداه أحبه والله سبحان من سوى سبحان من سوى سبحان من سوى اروي ظمايا من الكوثر يا سيدي يوم المعشر اروي ظماي من الكوثر يا سيدي يوم المحشر سل عن سيف الأكبر في خيبر بذي الفقار شهر قد كان الفتى الأجدر أبا شبر بحظ الأوفر يا ناصر المختار يا حيدر الكرار بسيفك البتار تمزق الكفار تمزق الكفار تمزق الكفار اروي ضماي من الكوثر يا سيدي يوم معشار اروي ظماي من الكوثر يا سيدي يوم المعشار ذخري أنت في الحشر والنشر سلمتك أمري كل ساعة العسر واليسر سراجي الدري يا عيني يفتحني برؤية البطل وضحي سري مجنون حب علي مجنون حب علي مجنون حب علي اروي ظماي من الكوثر يا سيدي يوم المحشر اروي ظماي من الكوثر يا سيدي يوم المحشر صلوات.
MashaAllah, Zain, beautiful recitation. So, with this beautiful recitation, Abbas, a child here, he got motivated. He said that I want to say a few verses, short verses from Holy Quran. But Muhammad wa ale Muhammad salawat. Allah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Malik Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفره إنه كان توابا.
MashaAllah, Abbas, very beautiful recitation. So we are honored, we have a guest, Brother Mullah Qarar. So he has spared some time for some nasheed on this happy occasion. Can I request Brother Mullah Qarar to come and recite nasheed? Bar Muhammad wa ala Muhammad salawat. Allahumma.
أفلح من صلى على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليكم أيها الحفل الكريم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أسعد الله أيامنا وأيامكم بذكرى ميلاد أمير المؤمنين عليه السلام والإمام محمد بن علي الجواد سلام الله عليهم. We congratulate all of you tonight, inshallah, with the auspicious occasion of the birth of the commander of the faithful, Al-Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, and his grandson, Al-Imam Muhammad al-Jawad. For their love, please recite aloud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Can I also request, I know a majority of you have back pain and you always want to sit on the outskirts of the place, but if you could come closer to me so we can have a meaningful and an insightful recitation, inshallah. All the young ones, if you need the back support, then you can stay on the outskirts. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Secondly, this is the birth of the commander of the faithful and Imam al-Jawad. Two imams in one. This is a raw deal. Everyone needs to raise their voice in very loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala. اسم على عرش الجليل مطرز قد صار تسبيح الملائك بالورى الله حياه بعرشه والهدى وأمين وحي الله جاء مبشرا ولد الإمام المرتضى لمحمد اللهم صل على سند خير البرية نوره قد أزهرا فعليه صلوا كل صبح ومساء كما صلى عليه الصفا والمشعرا. Last night I read a section of a poem in English. I want to continue the theme. That poem continues. They asked me about Ali. I said, what do I say about a man who fights a war on a mule, for never would he chase and never would he run? A man who left weak men strong and strong men stunned. Never did he ever leave a poor man shunned. Father of the orphans, he was the one. The amount of those who defeated this man are none. What do I say about a man who was raised by the Prophet of Allah like a son? They asked me about Ali. I said, what do I say about a man so truthful? No wealth existing would he lie for. A man who the bravest warrior and greatest scholar would die for. A man who for millions is the Mecca of dreams, who wouldn't abuse his power for the lightest of means. The man who held the flag under arrows which resembled the rain. A man who left his effect when he walked the terrain. Who dissected knowledge like grinding the grain. What do I say about a man whose love would drive you insane? What do I say about a man whose love would drive you insane? They asked me about Ali. I said, what do I say about a man who had a brother like Ja'far al-Tayyar, who Allah gave wings? An uncle like Hamza, who in the realm of martyrs stands among kings. Who Fatima, daughter of Allah's Prophet, accepted in marriage not for status or political advantage. A daughter like Zainab, the beauty of her father. Sons like Hassan and Hussein, who will lead the youth of paradise as partners. patience in living with the pain of the knowledge, they'd be orphaned, poisoned, and slaughtered. More importantly, martyred. What do I say about a man who called out victory after he was struck and before he departed? Who called out victory when he was struck and before he departed? Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The poem was written by a friend of mine by the name of Muhammad Hijazi. ای روزه رضوان رضا ادرکنی. فارسی زبونه صلوات بفرستم. معلومه خیلی هم. ای روزه رضوان رضا سر حلقه خوبان خدا ادرکنی. در جود و کرم نیامده در عالم دستی به کریمی شما ادرکنی. دلها ز قدم دوست شاد است امشب سیراب ز چشمه مراد است امشب بشکفت تقی شکوفه باغ رضا فرخنده ولادت جواد است امشب. چشم و دل تو روشن فاطمه یا فاطمه چشم و دل تو روشن فاطمه یا چشم و دل تو روشن فاطمه یا فاطمه داد خدا دست گل به سامن الائمه یبن الرضا یبن الرضا یبن الرضا یبن الرضا یبن الرضا جواب بده یبن الرضا. بر لب قدوسیان این سخن جان فراز بیت ولایت پر از جلوه ابن الرضا خنده و جد و شعف بر دو لب مرتضا امین وحی خدا سردهد این زمزمه چشم و دل تو روشن فاطمه یا فاطمه چشم و دل تو روشن فاطمه یا فاطمه یبن الرضا یبن الرضا. Not acceptable. I always, when I read, choose very, very easy chorus so everyone can understand. So you can't say I don't speak Farsi. Yeah? Ya ibn al-Rida, ya ibn al-Rida, ya ibn al-Rida. آینه و دل شده نور خدا منجلی آینه و دل شده نور خدا منجلی دامن ریحان شد محبت نور ولی بود تقی الجواد محمد ابن علی بود تقی الجواد محمد ابن علی روح روان رسول چشم و چراغ همه ابن الرضا ماشاءالله یا ابن الرضا یا ابن الرضا. گل وجود جواد شکفته شد در زمین گل وجود جواد شکفته شد در زمین به رنگ و بوی خدا چه خاتم المرسلین آینه طلعتش داهاست و یا یاسین ابر و خال و خطش آیات محکمه یا ابن الرضا ماشاءالله یا ابن الرضا بارک الله احسن الله يا ابن الرضا يا ابن الرضا. ذکر خدا خیزد از لعل درربار او، ذکر خدا خیزد از لعل درربار او، جهان سراسر شده غرق در انوار او. امام هشتم زند بوسه به رخسار او، امام هشتم زند بوسه به رخسار او. سزد که مریم شود به کوی او خادمه. یا ابن الرضا یا ابن يا ابن الرضا صلوات. عرب زبونا کجان؟ ها خوتی ها. There's only two of them. ها خوتی ها. يظل تاج العدل بس العلي نيلوق، ابو الايتام يرعاهم موده وشوق، وعلي العالي على فوق الثريا فوق، وهنيال اليوصل لحدوده، هنيال اليوصل لحدوده، هنيال اليوصل لحدود علي حيدار علي حيدار علي حيدار علي حيدار علي حيدار علي هيدار علي هيدار علي هيدار. مولود ابو الحمله وصل يا ساده، قوموا نهني المصطفى واحفاده، وعلى الزكيه نبارك بميلاده. هذا الفخر للولي ربنا راده، بالكعبه مولوده اياته مشهوده، وبالكعبه مولوده اياته مشهوده، وهالليله معبوده وتجلى بوجوده. علي حيدار علي حيدار علي حيدار علي حيدار علي حيدار. الله علي حيدار. هلا بشنوید از ماجرایی پر عجب، بشنوید از ماجرایی پر عجب، معجزه در ماه پر فیض رجب. چون رجب باشد سرای احترام، ماه عمر باشد این ماه هرا، ماه عمر باشد این ماه هرا. علی حیدر علی حیدر. louder louder. الله الله علي حيدر. علي حيدر. الله الله القدوم المرتضى شق بيته، نادى الذي والى علي واليته، كل من يعاد المرتضى عاديته، مبغض علي بشعب الصقر خليته، مبغض علي بشعب الصقر. الله الله الله. ويصرح الباري خصم الوصي داري، ويصلح الباري وخصم الوصي داري، يتخلد بنار حكم يظل جاري. علي حيدر أعلى علي حيدر. ما شاء الله علي حيدر. مردمان از هر طرف می آمدن، مردمان از هر طرف می آمدن، حلق دور خانه حق می زدن. بود کعبه روز و شب در ازدحام، در طوافش بود سعی خاص و عام، در طوافش بود سعی خاص و عام. علی حیدر. الله علي حيدر. الله بنت الأسد جابت أسد بالكعبة، الله جبريل يكبر بالسماء من حبه، والشيعي واجب خلي يشكر ربه، مكتوب حب الصمد بقلبه. الله والشيعة فرحانة بجيتك يا مولانا، والشيعة فرحانة بجيتك يا مولانا، والملك ويانا يتغنى بالحانة يتغنى بالحانة. علي حيدر علي حيدر. الله علي حيدر. ناگهان در پوشش ستر و وقار، ناگهان در پوشش ستر و وقار، بانویی اومد به بیت گردگار، با ابو طالب قرین و همسر است، همچو همسر حامی پیغمبر است، با ابو طالب قرین و همسر است، همچو همسر حامی پیغمبر است. علی حیدر، علی حیدر، ماشاءالله علی حیدر. الله بهذا الحفل ام الحسن مسروره، والحيدر الباري كتب كم سوره، كم لافته من هالأتى منشوره، باسم الولي شيعة علي منصوره، باسم الولي شيعة علي منصوره. وبمولد الكرار حيدر يا حامل جار، فرحانه هالابرار، وتهني الاطهار، وتهني الاطهار. علي حيدر، ما شاء الله علي حيدر. الله تا به سوی پرده کعبه شتاف، تا به سوی کعبه پرده شتاف، تا به سوی پرده کعبه شتاف. ناگهان دیواری از شوق شکاف، ناگهان دیوار از شوق شکاف، از شکاف کعبه داخل گشته بود، بر مرادش کعبه واصل گشته بود، بر مرادش کعبه واصل گشته بود. علی حیدر. Do you have time? Ali Haydar. Hey, Ali Haydar. All right. You know how difficult it is to put a qasida together with different languages. So we have a qasida that has 3 languages in it. If you want me to read, have to make salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. If you want to be happy, صلوا صلوا على النبي. If you want to be happy, 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 صلوا صلوا. لو ردت السعادة والعز المخلد، صلي على طه والقاسم محمد، صلي على حيدر أقدس واغلى الإداء، صلي على حيدر أقدس واغلى الإداء. Lion of the خيبر والصديق الأكبر، Lion of the خيبر والصديق الأكبر. If you want to be happy, صل صل على النبي. If you want to be happy, if you want to be happy, صلوا صلوا على النبي. If you want to be happy, صل على ابو حسين والنور المطهر، صل على ابو حسين والنور المطهر. اول خليفه we have to remember، اول خليفه we have to remember. remember سلامي ويا قلبي وهيامي، remember سلامي يا قلبي وهيامي. I love إمامي and he is غرامي، I love إمامي and he is غرامي. If you want to be happy, صل صل. If you want to be happy, صل. Get it out. If you want to be happy, صل على البتولة and forget being sad. صل على البتولة and forget being sad. لابو اليمة والزاكي ويزين العباد، لابو اليمة والزاكي ويزين العباد. تسعد حياتك ما تشقى بمماتك، تسعد صحتك ما تشقى بمماتك. تقبل صلاتك تتنور سماتك، تقبل صلاتك تتنور سماتك. If you want to be happy, صلوا صلوا على النبي. If you want to be happy, To be happy, صلوا على النبي. If you want to be happy. 13 رجب از شب‌های شادی. دستا بیاد بالا ببینم. باریکلا. 13 رجب از شب‌های شادی. كل احنا نحضر غصبا على المعادي. 13 رجب از شب‌های شادی وكل احنا نحضر غصبا على المعادي. Do not be somber امشب شب دلبر. Do not be somber امشب شب دلبر. You have to remember ريحة مسك وعنبر. You have to remember ريحة مسك وعنبر. If you want to be happy صلوا على النبي. If you want. Do you want to be happy? صلوا على النبي. If you want to be happy. If you want to be happy. If you want to be one of the protected. If you want to be one of the protected. Be a believer and leave the rejected. أرد أندعي لك يا صاحب زماني. أرد أندعي لك يا صاحب زماني. We will come over and send the tahani. We will come over and send the tahani. علي آية وعلي راية وعلي غاية وعلي تالي وعلي أول علي تا. علي أول علي تالي وعلي راية وعلي غاية وعلي ثاية وعلي حماي الحماية. علي نور وعلي سور وعلي همة وعلي قمة وعلي عالي وعلي غالي وعلي تالي وعلي بلسم للموا وعلي الليث المجرب. علي شتال مرحب. علي بيد المذهب. اخو الهادي وصيه مثال العبقريه. يا حماي الحمي يا علي 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 يا علي 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 يا علي ولي الله. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
MashaAllah, very beautiful recitation of Nasheed. Bar Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Muhammad wa ajil. So we have two more items for this today's program. One is the Sheikh, of course, Sheikh's lecture. Sheikh is here. After the lecture, we have a Kahoot quiz. Please be seated after the lecture, specifically the children. If you can bring your children inside so they can effectively participate in the Kahoot. So don't forget to participate in Kahoot. Bar Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil. So without any delay, I will request Shaykh Waqar, Hamid Waqar. So can I request him to come to the member and recite today's program. Bar Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Bar Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. Allah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا أبو القاسم محمد. ولا أهل بيتي الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, as always, it's an honor and a privilege to be here amongst you, all the way in Brisbane, one of my favorite centers in all of Australia here. And especially on these nights where we're commemorating the birthdays of Imam Ali alayhi salam and Imam Jawad alayhi salam. So you couldn't ask for a better night tonight. Now, I was looking at what to speak about, and obviously there's so many things we could choose from, but I wanted to look at brotherhood, because Alhamdulillah, there's a good group of brothers who come here, and when I come here, they welcome me and they show me brotherhood. But I know that as a community, the closer that we are to one another, the stronger of a community will be. So if we could look at brotherhood and friendship from an Islamic perspective, inshallah, it could help us, throughout our lives and help us become a stronger community. And also, we know that Imam Ali alayhi salam is known as the brother of the Prophet, right? So that's one of his titles, one of the many titles he has, brother of the Prophet. And the reason why he's called the brother of the Prophet happened on two separate occasions. So the Prophet decided to make something called a brotherhood pact. And he did this twice. He did it once in Mecca before he migrated to Medina, and he did it a second time in Medina after the migration. The purpose was different, but the outcome was very similar. Right? So the first brotherhood pact was done when the mushrikeen of Mecca were oppressing and attacking the Muslims. And you know that the Muslims, they converted slowly. So it wasn't like a whole tribe or a whole family converted to Islam in the early days. One person from this family, one person from that family, one person from that family. They weren't really close. They didn't know each other, but they embraced Islam and they became Muslims and they became one community. And they were being attacked by the mushrikeen, big time. They were being tortured. Some of them were even killed, right? And the Prophet decided to make this brotherhood pact. And the purpose of this brotherhood pact was so that these companions would have someone that they could call their brother and who would support them against the oppression of the mushrikeen. So now you had someone who was connected to you stronger. Is that better? Yeah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. That's good. All right. And so the Prophet made the companions brothers of one another, right? And there weren't so many companions at that time, but there was a good number. And he put two people together, right? Now, he didn't choose a brother for Imam Ali alayhi salam, right? And we'll get back to that in a minute. Then same thing happens after Medina, after they did the hijrah, after they migrated and moved to Medina. About 6 months after the migration. Now, the people who traveled from Mecca to Medina, who migrated, called the Muhajireen, these people gave up everything. They gave up all of their possessions, their houses, their jobs, everything that they had in Mecca, they lost, and they migrated to Medina. So they're here in Medina with nothing, poor, right? No house, no wealth. And the Ansar, the people who are living in Medina, this is their home. So obviously they have a job, they have employment, they have a house, they're comfortable. So the Prophet decided to make this brotherhood pact, and he would link one muhajir, one of the people who migrated from Mecca, with one Ansar, one of the people who lived in Medina. And the job of the person who's from Medina was to help the muhajir get on his feet, secure his livelihood, and move forward in life. And again, he combined two people. There's traditions that say there was about 90 people in all, so 45 of Muhajireen and 45 of the Ansar were linked together. And once again, the Prophet didn't choose anyone to be the brother of Imam Ali alayhi salam. Right? Now, these brotherhood pacts are recorded in Sunni and Shia sources. There's no doubt that they took place. They're recorded so many times by so many different narrators that it's impossible it was made up. They reached a state of something that's called tawatur, right? Which means it's been recorded so many times. And the fact that Imam Ali alayhi salam wasn't selected to be a brother of any of the Muhajirin, either in the first time or the Ansar in the second time, that's also unanimous. No one disputes that in Sunni and Shia literature. And I'll read just two excerpts, one from the time in Mecca and one from the time in Medina, from Sunni books. And we could see what they say, right? Because it's interesting that we could see so much praise of Imam Ali alayhi salam in the Sunni books, right? So the first one is in a book called As-Sira al-Halabiyah. And in this book, a person by the name of Abdullah ibn Omar, he's asked to describe Imam Ali alayhi salam. And he's in Medina at this time. He walks past the house of the Prophet. He said, this is the house of the Prophet, and this is the house of Ali ibn Abi Talib. You want me to tell you about him? And the person who asked said, yes, I asked you to tell me about him. Tell me about him. And the one thing that Abdullah ibn Omar, according to this book, said was that brotherhood pact, right? He said this. He said, the Prophet made pacts of brotherhood amongst the companions. But Ali alayhi salam, obviously he didn't say alayhi salam, I'm adding that. But Ali alayhi salam remained without any pact. No brother was chosen for him. He told the Prophet, O Rasulullah, O Messenger of Allah, you've made pacts of brotherhood from amongst the companions, but who's my brother? You didn't make one for me. And the Prophet responds, are you happy to be my brother fit dunya wal akhirah, in this world and in the hereafter? And of course Imam Ali says yes, and he says, so you're my brother in this world and the next, right? And that's an amazing honor to have. The same thing happens in Medina, right? And I'm going to read from a book called Al-Fusul Al-Muhimma, which again is another Sunni source here. On this one, I think there's a couple additions in this source that we probably wouldn't agree with, but still we get the gist of it. So what he says is this. He says, the Prophet made pacts of brotherhood between the Muhajirin and the Ansar, like we described. He did not make Ali ibn Abi Talib a brother with anyone. Ali then left the gathering in sadness, which I think this one's added. I think the Imam already knew what was happening here. But it says he left the gathering with sadness. The Prophet then came to him and says, why are you sad? Aren't you happy to be my brother in this world and the next? And again, he was made the brother of the Prophet. Now it adds though, the Prophet adds to this a bit. And he says, tell them. So obviously there is a discussion where Imam Ali alayhi salam might be asking how he should respond to people in the future who might question his position. And the Prophet says, tell them this. Tell them you're a servant of God. And you're the brother of Rasulullah. And there's nobody else that can make that claim. If anyone else tries to make such a claim that they're the brother of Rasulullah, they're a liar. Right? And our ulama, Shia ulama, and Sunni ulama use these two brotherhood pacts as evidence to show the superiority of Imam Ali alayhi salam over all other companions. Right? This is something that is unique to our Imam. No one else has this virtue of being called the brother of the Prophet, or the Prophet choosing him amongst all of the companions and all of the Muslims to be his brother. Right? So that's amazing. Please recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. All right. So brotherhood. Our topic is brotherhood. And I'm not going to dwell too much on the importance of brotherhood. I think that's something that's self-evident. I think that's something that you already know. I could recite verses of Quran, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةً, verily the believers are brothers. I could recite a hadith. Imam Ali alayhi salam said, what was it? Akhal ikhwan fillah, like be brotherly to your brothers in Allah, like with God. Now, I'm not going to spend time doing that. You already know brotherhood is something that's important. You already know it's beneficial in this world and the next. What I want to talk about is how to be a brother. Right? How are we supposed to interact with one another? Right? Are we supposed to only see each other here in the center when we have programs and then go about our lives, and then the next birthday comes and we come and sit here, go about our lives, the shahadat comes and we come and commemorate that, go about our lives? Right? Is that the connection we have? In Christianity, that's called Sunday Christians, where they go to church on Sunday, they see each other, they say hi to each other, and they don't know each other the rest of the week. Right? Or they don't even know each other Sunday night. Just that hour they know each other. Right? Sometimes I feel that our communities have fallen into that trap as well. Sometimes I feel that we aren't as close as we should be. And when we read a tradition that will go over by Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, we'll be able to test ourselves to see, are we truly brothers with one another? Okay, so I want to read this tradition, and then after that we'll go to the Kahoot quiz. It's a long tradition though, so it's not going to be over in a minute. Right? But after that, inshallah, you guys could have Kahoot, win prizes, and inshallah, then strengthen the bonds of friendship with one another. Okay, now, this tradition is related by a companion of Imam Sadiq by the name of Mu'alla ibn Khanis. He asked the Imam, what is the right that a Muslim has over a fellow Muslim? How are we supposed to interact with one another? How are we supposed to live in a community where we have these social interactions? What does it look like in Islam? Right? The Imam responds in a very interesting way. So first he says, there's 7 obligatory rights for a believer. 7. And we'll go through all 7 of them. But if one of them is unfulfilled, just one, the Muslim has left the obedience of God. That's huge. Right? So the Imam's saying there's 7 things we have to do for each other. But be careful. If one of them, if you fall short in just one, you've left the obedience of God. That's scary. Right? And I know myself, when I go through these 7, I don't act in accordance to all of them all the time. So I know I'm falling short. So I know it's something that I myself and we as a community have to work on. Okay? But the Imam, this part is the interesting part here. The Imam says, Allah will not help such a person, and O Mu'alla, I'm afraid that if I tell you these 7 obligations, you're not going to fulfill them. So the Imam didn't even want to tell him what they were. Right? He wanted to use that ignorance is bliss type mentality and not inform him of what his obligations were, out of fear that he's not going to fulfill them. But Mu'alla ibn Khanis insists. He says, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. And he asks the Imam again, please tell me. And then the Imam responds, and he tells him those 7 obligations. Right? And I'm going to tell you these 7. And once we learn them, just as the Imam said, we have to make sure we do our best to fulfill them, inshallah. Okay? So, first one. And he says the first one is the easiest one. So he says the easiest of these rights is that you should want for your brother what you want for yourself. And you should hate for your brother that which you hate for yourself. Pretty easy, pretty simple, right? The only problem is envy comes into our hearts and destroys that. Right? When we're envious, that means we don't want our brother to get something that we don't have. We want it for ourselves. Imagine we're both working in one company and our brother gets a promotion over us. Are we going to be happy and are we going to be celebrating that? Or are we going to be asking, why didn't I get this promotion? Why did he get it? One of our brothers buys a new car. MashaAllah. Why can't I buy a new car? Buys a house, buys an investment property, gets married, has a kid. So many instances you could think of that sometimes create jealousy. Why is his spouse or her spouse, why do they treat them well and that mine doesn't? Whatever you're jealous about, right? This is fighting against that. This is saying no. If you want that promotion, your brother gets it, be happy for him. If he takes a step forward in life, great. Right? This is the easiest one. And I'm hoping the majority of us in this room, we can act according to that. If someone here, something good happens to them, alhamdulillah. It doesn't make me upset that something good happened to you. I'm happy for that. Right? That's an easy one. So inshallah, as the Imam said, this is the easiest step. But the only thing that's a dangerous for it is envy, where we have to fight that. But other than that, we could accomplish this first obligation, inshallah. Second obligation. You should distance yourself from your brother's anger, and you should seek his satisfaction. Another thing that's pretty common sense there. If this is your brother, you shouldn't be trying to make him angry. You shouldn't be constantly upsetting him, right? You should be treating him in a way that doesn't anger him. Sometimes we make fun of one another, we belittle one another. We might be thinking it's fun, but maybe the person is getting upset at that, right? Maybe in that person's heart he is. So we have to be a little careful. But I want to concentrate on the second part, trying to make the believer or the brother happy, right? Imam Qasim alayhi salam, he says, he who makes a Muslim believer happy first has pleased Allah. And after he's pleased Allah, has pleased Rasulullah. And after he's pleased Rasulullah, has pleased Ahlul Bayt. So just making another believer happy gives you all of these rewards and blessings. That makes us think, shouldn't we just be running around trying to make each other happy? Right? Shouldn't we be thinking, I'm going to go to the center today. Let's throw chocolates into the crowd and make people happy. I loved that when I saw that, right? Let's do what we can to make sure that I at least brighten one person's day. One of my Muslim brothers, I make them happy today. You do that, you make Allah, the Prophet, and the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam pleased with you. Right? It's something we should be doing. So these are two ones that don't take much effort. First one, just wanting for our brother what we want for ourselves. Second one, trying to make our brothers happy. Right? Thinking, actually planning, what can I do today to make them happy? Right? Because you want to secure all of these rewards. Right? So those are two things. The third right is that you should aid him with your property, with your tongue, with your hands, and with your feet. Right? So when one of your brothers in the community needs help, we help them. Right? They might be moving houses and they need help packing things up or putting things on a truck. We go help them. They might need a ride somewhere. They don't have access to a car. We help them. They might need a loan and we have the ability to give them a loan. We help them. Right? We don't have to, I'm not saying spend 24 hours a day giving all your money and time away. Find a balance. Right? And when one of your brothers has a need and needs to be helped in a certain way, do it. Maybe it's something even helping them by giving them advice. Right? Maybe it's by helping them learn a trade or a skill that they could earn money from. There's many different ways you could help people. But if you find that one of your brothers is in need and needs help in a certain area that you're able to provide that help with, do it. So that's 3 things. Wanting for them what you want for yourself. Second one was trying to make them happy. Third one, helping them when they're in need. Pretty simple so far. Fourth, the fourth right is that you should be his eyes and his guide. So now this is an important position, right? There's a tradition from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, a different one. He says, a Muslim is a brother of a Muslim. He's his eyes, his mirror, and his guide. So very similar to this. Now what that means is, not only are we supposed to try to make them happy, try to help them when they're in need, want the best for them, but when we see them making a mistake, we have to pull them up on it as well. We have to try to guide them, right? We shouldn't just say, okay, I see he's making this mistake, he's being misguided, he's falling off the path. I don't want that awkward conversation. I don't want to have to say, hey brother, look, what you did there was wrong. Right? That was, maybe we should think about approaching this in a different way. Right? Maybe they're committing a sin. Maybe whatever the case is. If they're making a mistake, right, it's our guide, it's our job as a brother to try to help them. And this is something where I think a lot of us fall short. Right? A lot of times, because of that potential awkwardness, we just let it go. And I'm not saying to be ultra aggressive and, hey, the haram police or whatever. But it is our job to try to help one another get closer to Allah. Right? That's the whole purpose why we're here on earth, is to reach closeness with God. And the purpose of a Muslim community is to provide the necessary environment for that to happen. And if any of us are falling off the path, it's our duty collectively to try to help them and guide them and bring them back. Right? So that's an important thing. And that's a little bit harder than the first 3. So wanting for each other what we want for ourselves, trying to make each other happy, helping each other when we're in need, and being a guide, being a source of guidance for one another. Right? Those are the first 4. Fifth one, recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. All right, fifth one is one for extreme circumstances. Right? So, fifth right is that you should not be full while your brother is hungry. You should not quench your thirst while your brother is thirsty. And you should not be clothed while your brother doesn't have any clothes. Right? Now, here in Australia, that's a rare case. It would be unlikely that one of the members of the community is starving on the street and everyone else doesn't know about it and doesn't care about it. Right? Most likely, we would give the person food, we'd take care of them. Right? But in these extreme cases, if we're aware of one of our brothers struggling to that extent where he doesn't have the bare necessities of life, then it's not only just help him, it's don't even go to sleep. Help him now. Run. Right? If any of us are in that position, inshallah, may Allah protect us from all of that. But when I was reading this one right that Imam Sadiq alayhi salam is mentioning, I couldn't help but to remember what happened in Karbala. Right? We know Karbala is a university. Right? That's one of the ways that it's described. A university full of lessons. Right? The tragedies, obviously, but there's lessons for us as well. Right? We're supposed to learn. And one of the things we could learn from is when Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam reached the river bank, took the handful of water, was about to drink it, and let it spill. He didn't want to drink it because he knew the Ahlul Bayt were thirsty. He said, how could I drink when they're thirsty. Right? That's this. They were in an extreme circumstance. He couldn't bring it to himself to say, okay, I'm going to quench my thirst here. He couldn't imagine himself doing that when he knows what's happening there. So for us, it's the same. Inshallah, we never find ourselves in that position. But if we know one of our brothers is struggling to the extent that he doesn't have the bare necessities of life, we need to run to help him. We can't sleep that night. We can't say, he's dying of hunger. I'm going to go to a restaurant, eat a kebab, and then I'll go help him. No. We run and we help him. Right? So that's the fifth one. The sixth one is a little irrelevant for us. The sixth one is something that this time and place is different than the time of the Imams. It applied there, doesn't really apply here, at least here in Sydney. But I'll read it anyways, and we'll move on to the last one. So the sixth right is that that if you have a servant, if you have a slave, and your brother does not, then you send your servant to help your brother as well. Now, obviously, times are different. There's a whole section of fiqh and jurisprudence about slavery in Islam. There's all kinds of theological discussions about it as well. We'll park that discussion for another time because it's outside of the scope of what we're talking about here. But because it's in this hadith, I had to just read it. And now we'll go to the seventh one. Seventh right is that you should treat your brother well. You should accept his invitations. You should visit his sick. You should attend his funeral. You should take care of his needs without him even having to ask you. This is a big one here too. This one sounds easy, but a lot of us fall short. Right? So obviously treating him well, yes. But how do we treat him well? Accepting his invitations. Right? So sometimes a brother will call us on the phone and he'll ask us, hey, let's go out, get a cup of coffee, let's go to a restaurant, let's go hang out for a little bit. Right? We might be saying, I just got back from work, I'm tired. Let's wait till the weekend. I have family stuff, right? I need to spend time with my wife and kids, or my husband and kids, whatever. Let's do this another night, right? Now, the person who's asking you to go out, you don't know what it's about. You don't know the backstory. He might be struggling. He might really be in a state of need that he needs something from you. He might be in a real low mood, feeling really upset. Something might be bothering him, and he just needs someone to talk to, right? And you've rejected him. You might have made it worse. Now, obviously, we need to keep balance, though. Don't say that, that means every night I'm going to go out with my friends and forget my wife and kids and we're going to go have fun and smoke our gillies all night or whatever. No. I'm not saying that. You need to have a balance, right? Sometimes you go out and you spend time with your friends and especially when they need it. And obviously you have a responsibility to your family and your children as well, right? But when your brother asks you to spend time with him, usually there's a reason behind it. So it's not, the Imam is telling you here, accept his invitations. Second, visit his sick, right? So when you're sick, or when your brother's sick, you should go visit him. This is something in Eastern culture happens all the time. In Western culture, not so much, right? So it's something, and you don't have to go spend 6 hours at their house and make them struggle, they're sick, right? You go, just show them that you care, that you wish them the best, that you hope they get better. Give them a little bit of food, bring some food with you to give to them so they don't have to cook, and take care of them in that way, right? It shows that you care, it's big. The next one was go to their funerals. Inshallah, none of us die, but unfortunately we all are going to. Right? There's no way that we could live here forever. Right? Now think about it yourself. If one of your family members passes away and you he's washed. You go to the funeral, and in the funeral, it's only a couple people there. You're there, couple members of your family, and that's it. Right? You'd feel bad. You'd feel alone. You'd feel isolated. You wouldn't feel like there's a community. But imagine another scenario. Obviously, you're upset. Your brother, your blood brother just passes away. You're upset. You're sad. You wash his body. You take him to the funeral to bury him. And you see that so many people from the community are there. Right? You're not going to be happy at that moment. It's not like that's going to make you happy and now you're not sad anymore. You're still going to be sad. Your brother just passed away. But you're going to see that people care. Right? You're going to feel like you have a community. You're going to feel like you're a part of something bigger. Right? That's going to give you that sense of comfort that you need at that time. Right? This is why the Imam is saying this. He wants to strengthen the community. And he knows that just this simple interaction between two members of the community is what strengthens us. Right? We're all brothers to one another. Right? We should be acting like this with each other, every single one of us. Right? And the last one was to help him without him even having to ask. The only way that you're going to know what he needs is if you spend time with him. If I don't spend time with you, how do I know what you need? So how do I know how I can help you? I don't know anything about you. Right? I don't know what you're struggling with in life. I have no idea. The only way I'd find out is if I sit down with you, I spend time with you, I have a conversation with you, talk to you, right? And then I might start to pick up on things. And when I see that there's something you need help with, do it. Don't make him have to ask you. Just do it. Right? So what did we talk about today? We looked at the 2 brotherhood pacts that the Prophet made amongst the companions, both before the hijrah, before migration, and after. Brotherhood was important. Both of these brotherhood pacts, the purpose was to strengthen the Muslim community. He wanted to strengthen the bonds between the companions, and through that strengthen the Muslims as a whole. And we mentioned those stories as well because they show one of the ways that Imam Ali alayhi salam is superior to all the other companions, obviously. But him being the brother of the Prophet in both of those cases. And then we looked at the tradition from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, how we be brothers to one another. How are we supposed to treat one another? And there were 7 things. And if we pay attention to all 7 of these, inshallah, we'll see our community grow and strengthen. We should want for each other what we want for ourselves. Be happy when our brother excels and succeeds and moves forward in life. Be happy for him. Second, do things to bring a smile to his face. When you leave your house and you're coming to the center, think, how can I bring a smile to at least one person's face here? What can I do? Say a joke. Maybe I heard something funny. I'll say this joke to him, make him smile, make him happy. There we go. I got the pleasure of Allah, the Prophet, and the Ahlul Bayt. Right? Think about how you could do that. Third, help them. Whether it's with your money, whether it's with your time, whether it's with your property, whatever it's with. Find a way to help each other when you're in need. The fourth one was to be a guide for one another. Right? It's not only helping in the physical world, it's helping in the spiritual realm as well. Our job is to bring each other closer to God. And we need to try to do that collectively. It's not just the sheikh who sits up here and that's it, it's only his job. It's everyone's job. Right? I need you guys to help me, and you guys need each other to help each other, and we all help each other, inshallah we move forward. Fifth was the extreme need when someone doesn't have the necessities of life to run and make sure that that happens. 7 was the slave one, which was outside of our discussion. And 8 was those things that we know we should be doing. Accepting each other's invitations, visiting each other when we're sick, attending each other's funerals, and spending time with one another to make sure we know what the needs are. And I guarantee you, if you contemplate on how you could embody these teachings from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam and try to bring them to life in the community, you'll see the community grow, right? We'll be so close with one another that our collective happiness will increase. Our comfort will increase. And from the outside, non-Muslims who look at our community will say, I want to be a part of that. We'll be spreading Islam by our actions. And isn't that what we're taught to do? Right? Just having this strong, bonded community is attractive, not only for us, but for outsiders looking in as well. Okay? And I pray that on this birthday of the brother of Rasulullah, Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, we can learn how to become brothers to one another and increase our bonds of friendship and brotherhood and sisterhood with one another. Please recite a salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Thank you.
MashaAllah, a very beautiful majlis and lecture on the brotherhood, explaining the brotherhood in an innovative way, and the 7 beautiful, we can say, bullet points to lead a happy life. Can I request Brother Ali Raza Mehdi to take from here to announce the Kahoot? For Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat.
Baradigar salawat. Please give me a loud salawat. This is 13th of Rajab. I think we can do a little bit better. Please give me a louder salawat. Now we are going to start a Kahoot quiz. And this is after a long time. I know that Al-Muntazir did a Kahoot quiz 3 days back, but we want to do it on ICQ forum. Inshallah, you kids are going to enjoy. If you can please turn around to the screen over there. I'm not the quizzes are going to be there. Then we're going to show the pin. And this quiz is regarding Imam Ali and Hazrat Imam Ali Naqi, whose birthdays we are Imam Ali Jawad, Muhammad Jawad, whose birthdays we are celebrating tonight. The pin is on the screens right now. So please start joining. Jawad.
How are you? Good. Good. How are you? Sydney. Like 2 hours. Yeah, I'm leaving tomorrow. In and out.
MashaAllah, we have lots of people joining in.
When did you move? It's been a whole year. Okay, so you're just working? What are you doing?
We have special prizes for children under 15. I would request all the children that are under 15, please write your ages along with your name so that we can distribute the gifts as per your ages. Salawat bar Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Before we begin, we have an announcement. Is there anyone in the hall that has his birthday on 13th of Rajab? Is there anyone who shares their birthday with Imam Ali? 13th Rajab? Do we have? MashaAllah. We have one. MashaAllah. Please pay attention to this announcement. We would like all the children under 15 to add their ages with their names so that we can distribute the prizes to the children separately. Otherwise, you will be counted as adults and you may lose out. For adults, we have only one prize for gents and one prize for the ladies. So, for the children, we have 3 prizes. So, we need all the children to write their names and their ages along with them. He was sitting. Is there any child or anyone in the ladies section who shares the same birthday as Imam Ali, 13th of Rajab? Really? What is your name?
Mawlid.
Your birthday is on 13th of Rajab?
Yeah.
Oh, mashallah. Please read aloud salawat for this kid. His birthday is on 13th of Rajab. Congratulations. Happy birthday. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. MashaAllah, we have a lot of people joining in. I think the last record was 109 or 104. I don't remember, but it was above 100. I think we did. Sorry. Will it count? I don't know. Ask him. Yes. In 1 minute, we will start the quiz. We have 91 people joining in. MashaAllah. We are going to join in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Birth anniversary of Imam Ali and Imam Taqi Jawad quiz. Question 1. Following are the titles of Imam Ali. Please pay attention. Imam al-Muttaqeen and Bashir, Nasir and Murtada, Madinatul Ilm and Karrar, Yasin and Murtada. Imam al-Muttaqeen and Bashir, Nasir and Murtada, Madinatul Ilm and Karrar, Yasin and Murtada. Nasir and Murtada. Madinatul Ilm is the title of Rasulullah. Bab Madinatul Ilm, however, is the title of Imam Ali. Jawad Mahdi on top, Hasnan 14, followed by Naqi. Imam Ali said, people are either your brothers in faith or your enemies in Islam, people not to be trusted, your equals in humanity, your infidels to conquer. Imam Ali said, people are either your brothers in faith or your enemies in Islam, people not to be trusted, your equals in humanity, your infidels to conquer. MashaAllah. Lots of people have answered that question right. MashaAllah on all of us. Name the companion of Imam Ali, whose parents are the first martyrs in the history of Islam. Ammar Yasir, Miqdad, Kumail, Abu Hamza. Name the companion of Imam Ali, whose parents are the first martyrs in the history of Islam. Ammar Yasir, Miqdad, Kumail, Abu Hamza. MashaAllah, Ammar Yasir is the right answer. Jawad Mahdi is still on top. Name the corner of Holy Kaaba that cracked open for Imam Ali's mother at the time of his birth. Rukn Shami, Mizab, Rukn Yamani, Hijr Ismail. Name the corner of Holy Kaaba that cracked open for Imam Ali's mother at the time of his birth. Rukn Shami, Mizab, Rukn Yamani, Hijr Ismail. MashaAllah. We have 96 people who answered it correctly. MashaAllah again. Amazing. Du'as taught to Shias by Imam Ali include Ziyarat-e Ashura, Du'a-e Nudba, Du'a-e Mashlul, Du'a-e Ahad. Ziyarat-e Ashura, Du'a-e Nudba, Du'a-e Mashlul, Du'a-e Ahad. Du'as taught by Shia to Shias by Imam Ali. MashaAllah. We are on a strike, MashaAllah. 84 people answered it. Du'a-e Mashlul is the right answer. Ziyarat-e Ashura is a ziyarat, it's not a dua. And Du'a-e Ahad is for Imam Mahdi alayhi salam. MashaAllah, Jawad Mahdi still on top, Naqi following in, very close behind. By the Lord of Kaaba, I have succeeded was said by Imam al-Jawad, Rasulullah, Imam Hussein, Imam Ali alayhi salam. By the Lord of Kaaba, I have succeeded was said by who? Imam al-Jawad, Rasulullah, Imam Hussein, Imam Ali alayhi salam. MashaAllah, Imam Ali is the right answer. Amazing guys, you're doing great. Jawad Mahdi is the stint top, Naqi following, Hasnan 14 right behind him. The titles of Imam Muhammad Taqi are Jawad and Taqi, Taqi and Sakhi, Taqi and Kareem, Zaki and Taqi. The titles of Imam Muhammad Taqi are Jawad and Taqi, Taqi and Sakhi, Taqi and Kareem, Zaki and Taqi. MashaAllah, We are going great. Jawad and Taqi is the right answer. Hasnan 14 has taken over Naqi. Jawad Mahdi 12 is still on top. Imam Taqi was born on 10th of Rajab, 196 Hijri, 10th of Rajab, 185 Hijri, 10th of Rajab, 195 Hijri, 9th of Rajab, 195 Hijri. Imam Taqi was born 10th of Rajab, 196 Hijri, 10th of Rajab, 185 Hijri. MashaAllah. 10th of Rajab, 195. That was a very difficult question. 19 people answered it correctly. MashaAllah. We have a new winner. Naqi on top. Ya Ali Madad. Jawad Mahdi following in. Very close behind. What was the name of the mother of Imam Taqi? Hazrat Haditha Khatun, Hazrat Najma Khatun, Hazrat Khizra Khatun, and Hazrat Hakima Khatun. What was the name of the mother of Imam Muhammad Taqi al-Jawad? Hazrat Haditha Khatun, Hazrat Najma Khatun, Hazrat Khizra Khatun, and that is the correct answer, Hazrat Khizra Khatun. MashaAllah. We have a new winner, M. Ahsan, and Naqi following close behind. What was the age of Imam Taqi at the time of the martyrdom of his father? 8 years, 7 years, 6 years, or 10 years? The age of Imam Muhammad Taqi at the time of martyrdom of his father. 8 years, 7 years, 6 years, and 10 years. MashaAllah. 8 years. We have 25 people who answered that correctly, mashallah. M. Ahsan is on top, Naqi following behind, and Jawad Mahdi 12 following. What is the kunya of Muhammad Taqi? Abu Muhammad, Abu Ja'far, Abu Naqi, Abu Hadi. This is the title, this is the kunya of Imam Muhammad Taqi. Abu Muhammad, Abu Ja'far, Abu Naqi, Abu Hadi. It's Abu Ja'far. 16 people answered that incorrectly, but mashallah, M. Hassan is still on top, Naqi following behind, Jawad Mahdi 12 on the third. Last question. Imam Taqi had a debate with a renowned scholar called Imam Abu Hanifa, Yahya bin Aksam, Imam Bukhari, Mutawakkil. Imam Taqi had a debate with a renowned scholar called Imam Abu Hanifa, Yahya bin Aksam, Imam Bukhari, and Mutawakkil. The correct answer is Yahya bin Aksam. Let's see what the results are. Naqi on the third, Ahsan on second, and Zaki on top, mashallah. Zaki 10 on top, mashallah. We will go through the Excel sheet of the results and we will pronounce the results very soon. Thank you. Please read aloud salawat.
Assalamu alaikum, brother. So we are arranging the results. So we do ziyarah first, and then by the end of ziyarah, please be seated. We will announce the results. But Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. Allah.
صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليك يا مولاي يا رسول الله، خير خلق الله البشير النذير، السراج المنير، الطهر الطاهر، الدر الفاخر، البحر الزاخر، العلم الظاهر، المنصور المؤيد، حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم محمد ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا مولاي يا أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا سيد الوصيين، السلام عليك يا قائد الغر المحجلين، السلام عليك وعلى ضجيعيك آدم ونوح، وعلى جاريك هود وصالح، وعلى كافة المؤمنين في جوارك. All together. يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله، يا وجيها اشفع لنا عند الله. إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا. سلام الله عليك يا مولاي يا أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا مولاتي يا فاطمة الزهراء بنت الحبيب المصطفى، أم الحسن والحسين، ولأي الأمور تدفن ليلا ويخفى ثراها، ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا مولاي